of all, I would like to thank Barcelona Graduate School of Economics, and especially its director, Teresa García Milá, for inviting me to participate in this graduation ceremony today. And of course, thank you very much to the chairman, Ramon Marimón, of the Barcelona Graduate School of Economics. Well, this is a great honor for me to share its important milestone with all of you. I would like, first of all, to congratulate you. You have to be very proud and happy with your achievement. Also, you have to face this new period of your life with enthusiasm and to start new projects and succeed. I would like to also congratulate your families. It's very important to recognize the support they have given you. Probably, in most cases, they have made it possible for you to be here today. Well, I am an engineer, surrounded by many economists, then it's an important day for me also, but as an engineer, but at the same time, chairman of a listed company, I work very closely with financial people, financial professionals like yourselves, analysts, investors, bankers, consultants. Well, as a chairman of Enagás, let me to introduce my company in 5 minutes. Enagás is an energy company listed in the IBEX 35. We have almost 50 years of experience. In the industry of oil and gas, we are describing the midstream, the upstream, and the downstream. Our company, my company, is in the midstream. We are a transporting company with facilities like regasification facilities, underground storages, high-pressure pipelines. Right now, 95% of our shares are free float, and among them, the 80% are from overseas investors. Then, in the IBEX 35 in Spain, we are one of the companies with more international shareholders. We started 5 years ago our policy to begin to be outside Spain. Right now, we are present in 8 countries. But the most important for me at this moment are two things that make me especially proud. The first is, despite the hard economic crisis suffered in Spain and across the world over the last few years, I can say that Enagás, since the beginning of 2007, has increased its workforce by more than 30%. And secondly, the company has practically doubled our asset base from around 4 billion euros to 8 billion euros. Well, stop to make publicity about the company and to felicitate you. And perhaps, the organizers talked to me, what kind of speech do you want? And he said to me, talk about, the future career of the young people here from the point of view of a chairman of a listed company. Then some ideas, very simple, but, I hope it could be interesting for you. First idea, it is very important to mention that the professional environment in which you are going to enter right now is very complex. Certainly, every generation has to face up to different difficulties. It's not the first time. But really, we are living in a globalized world that has big and important advantages, but at the same time also has complex challenges that we don't know yet how to solve. In my opinion, summarizing, there are 3 kinds of challenges: economical, social, and politics. Globalization has clear economic consequences. It might improve the situation for an important part of the population, especially in the poorest countries, but at the same time, we are finding new phenomena. First, for example, middle class in the development countries lives relatively worse than before, or at least it thinks it is the situation. And secondly, inequality has increased. Globalization also has important social consequences. Perhaps the most important, the big phenomenon of big migrations as a consequence of political and military conflicts, poverty, difference in the life, and especially a new factor, the immediacy of the mass media and the social media. Things that probably right now, at the moment we are here, in the middle of the, for example, the poorest country in Africa, there is a young people or a young girl living in the middle of the poverty, but at the same time, with the capacity through internet, through the screen on TV, to see the way of life of Europe or United States or Australia, and deciding to leave his country and to go to the north in order to find a job, to find a better life. It's very, very difficult, thinking about it, to stop this movement of the desperate people, of the smart people, of the more learned people to fight for a better life. Then it's a new phenomenon than the developed countries. We are not I don't know the word dominating right now. It is one of the problems we have. And lastly, political problems. I am summarizing, evidently. There are political consequences of the globalization. For example, we are renewing a discussion that perhaps the people of my age thinks that was an old thing. In all the countries, we are discussing the leaders of the countries, the opinion makers, another time between openness, liberalization, free trade, or on the contrary, economic and political self-protectionism. It seems that we are 100 years ago, and we are another time discussing this. And especially the second problem, in my opinion, more important, the eruption of populism. For me, populism is a too simple answer to such complex problems. Well, this is the globalization era, and from this point of view, in this context, what do we require of the professionals who work in our teams, in our companies? Well, it's not important, my opinion, but I think, essentially, that probably my opinions are more or less the average of the chief executive officers or chairman you can find in your professional career in the future. Well, we want our people have attitudes and aptitudes and values. Well, attitudes. Well, in a globalized world, I especially value attributes like initiative, evidently, open-mindedness, perseverance, and especially positive attitude. Those who detect the problem are useful, but only if they provide also solutions. Do not forget, in the companies, perhaps in a very theoretical work, it's very important to analyze a problem and to detect a problem. But in the real economic world, your bosses, your future bosses, want that you can detect the problem and at the same time provide one, or if it is possible, two solutions for the problem. Then do not forget. Well, on the other hand, probably we require aptitudes from the people we like or we want to have in our companies. First of all, teamwork. I know all the time are you listening about teamwork, then this is more or less a cliché, but essentially it's very important. I think in the real economic world, in the business world, in the business, financial business, industrial business, it's very important the ability to work in a team. I know, as in your academic life, probably you are very learned to work in teams of people. Perhaps my personal experience is in the business, in the companies, not always the people is able to work very well in teams. then it's very important. Also, evidently, there are other things, negotiation skills. For example, another idea, I think, public speaking. It seems that in a world that with the IT tools we have, it's not important to have an audience, to talk about it, about something, because you have the capacity to produce memos, reports, to give messages to receive. But at the end of your work in a project, for example, in a real company, at the end of this way, you must also always find a certain audience. It could be the Investors Commission, the Executive Commission, the Board of Directors, some investors, some analysts from big investment funds, and they want to know in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, 5 minutes, what's your opinion about the project, what objectives do you want to reach, how much cost, how much money they put in the project. Then the capacity of public speaking, convince other people about our ideas, well, do not forget. And finally, evidently, at a certain moment, perhaps right now or in the next future, you will be the leader of a team, the boss of a division, or the boss of a company. Very important, 3 ideas: motivate your teams, identify the talent, and especially promote it. In my personal career, I was very, very thankful to the majority of my bosses. I used to have very big, rigorous bosses that learned me a lot, and I try 40 years later to learn something from them. No? And perhaps my most important experience is a good boss. What level of boss is not important? A good boss is always the boss who is able to detect talent and to promote the talent. And finally, well, don't be afraid of making decisions, because real life, especially real business, means at the end to take a decision, or yes or not, this or that. And not always very intelligent people is able to make decisions at the right moment. Do not forget. And also, it's not contradictory, well, do not be afraid of saying no whenever necessary, especially if you are a leader of a team, a boss, you will have certain responsibilities. Say no, perhaps, is more difficult than it seems. No? Well, from the point of view of values, well, I think we can summarizing in one word. I think one main value is honesty. If you are asked to do something which is not possible to explain very clear to the rest of the people, well, don't do it, because probably it's not a good thing. Remember this when at the middle of a work in a company, in activity, somebody said to you, we are to produce this or to set this, but don't explain to nothing. I am not talking about confidentiality, evidently. If one thing is difficult to explain to other people, then probably, I insist, don't do it. Well, other kind of values, evidently we appreciated in the companies. Well, or perhaps more exactly, it is my advice for young people. Well, do not be blinded at the beginning by the rapid success or the short-term money. It's not important. If it is possible, evidently choose your jobs, but especially choose your bosses. I know it's very difficult to find a job and more difficult to choose the boss. But when you will have some experience of the business world, you can detect very easy good bosses and bad bosses. Good bosses are the bosses who are normally very rigorous, very, very harsh, but they detect the talent, they promote it, they learn the people. and other kind of bosses. Perhaps they achieve at a short time the objectives they have, but not exactly are the same people from the point of view of the young people. Then, if it is possible for you, when you are in a company or you are to different possibilities of job, try to choose your job, no? And finally, well, enjoy your work. It's very difficult to be very productive in a company if you do not enjoy the work. I know very well, I have my personal experience. Sometimes in some companies I enjoy my work, in others perhaps not a lot, but it's very important to enjoy the work. And finally, perhaps it could be an old concept, but I think it's interesting, or at least for me, in front of this audience, to talk about the brotherhood in the professional environment. We can't achieve big goals without a sense of teamwork, of belonging, of collective pride, to be proud of being member of a company, little company, big company, of your academic life, for example, to be member of the school of Barcelona. I think this idea of brotherhood, of to be proud of being member of a wider group of people, I think is very important in order to achieve goals in a company. I know very well that right now the people is not working for one company for all the life, evidently. But myself, I think probably I had in my life 7 or 8 different companies, and in each company I had some experiences, good and bad. But I think every time is important, if it is possible, to have this sense of pride, this sense of to be in contact with other people. Well, I would like to finish as I started by thanking the Barcelona Graduate School of Economics for having invited me to share with you all this moment, and by once again congratulating you and your families. You are a well-prepared generation. Here today, the organizer said to me, there are people from 56 countries. Well, it's dramatic. Some of you will work in Spain, the majority will work overseas, but think that the training and the adaptation ability that the Graduate School of Economics has given you has prepared you for wherever you go. Remember, the most important thing is to live your lives with integrity. Don't give in to the pressure from other people. Don't try to be something that you aren't. Listen to your curiosity, be ambitious, follow your dreams, and, well, for finalizing, the world is relying on people like you. Congratulations and good luck in your future. Thank you.